Spain's Costa Blanca. Sand, sea, sun. A little slice of paradise. But the brighter the sunlight, the deeper the shadow.
The Belfast man's been missing in Spain for 6 days.
He was seen here, he was seen there, he's partying here, all this. John wasn't partying nowhere.
Buenos días, buenas tardes.
Let's talk about the missing man, John George.
This one is on the John George case.
I'm in Spain with the Russian cartel, the killings.
Mob bosses, Kinahan gang, Albanian gangsters.
I'm stronger, I'm harder, I'm more ferocious than all of them, and I'll eat them if I need to.
I can see in my third eye, he is no longer with us. The angels have him.
Keep the pressure on, keep exposing them. We will eventually smoke these people out.
Spotlight investigates.
I'm sure the Guardia Civil would love to know exactly what happened in that house.
Who killed John George?
Where do you start here? It's hard when there's a drug problem involved there.
I'm staying.
Because you're always waiting on that phone call.
I'm staying till I get him.
I always thought if anything's going to happen to John, it's going to happen here, like an overdose or something like that. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that I'd be running the fields of Spain at Christmas time.
Please, tell me where my son is. Please, anonymous, anything. Please just let me get my son home. I just want to get John home. It's just killing our family.
You know, only God can judge people. But at the end of the day, John went down the wrong road.
Since John vanished in December, memories are all he has of his son.
John was a typical young lad growing up in West Belfast. John was a great boxer. Boxed for Saints Boxing Club. Won Antrams, Ulsters, won all the boxing. The only one he couldn't win was the All-Irons. 16, started drifting. Got involved with a bit of an older crowd. Done something one night, went to prison. John went to prison, committed prison. Wasn't the same boy went into prison. No interest. John ended up becoming addicted to tablets. As years went on, John got further into crime, further into tablets. We had never any fallouts with John, you know. I know there is families where when the young lads go off the rails and they're through out of the house and all things. There was nothing like that. He came into the house and his usual crack, starting messing about, torturing his sisters and brothers, you know. Get into his grannies loved them and all, you know, things like that. John's the life of the house. Here he comes, here's the melter.
You're feeling guilty. Hey, you should be an X Factor next year, son.
Baby, I'm not serious.
If you're in a party, walked into a bar, here he comes.
Gonna be alright.
Big joker, you know. Love the mixing. But John was being John.
After the death of a relative, John had gone on holiday to clear his head. On December 14th, John spoke to his parents by phone.
It's lovely out here, look at the weather. Everything's dead on. Every day he's ringing me. It's great out here. I'm sitting here with a couple of other people. Who you sitting with? Guy, no. Yeah, all right. All these guys, John, my friend. I told you, I know him, he's a friend of mine. He says, I'm bringing this header home with me. He says, who? French Foreign Legioner. He says, don't be bringing any French Foreign Legioner near my door. That's me. John, I think you're better just heading on home. You've had your breakout, you know, your blowout. Just come on home. He says, Dad, would you chill? Just chill. He says, where's my ma? I says, here she's here. And then he goes, right, ma, I love you. I'll see you soon.
That phone call was the last time John's family ever spoke to him. What came next left the George family broken and still searching desperately for answers about what happened to John.
Paper Español covering crimes and local news, and I've been following the John George case since the beginning.
Together, we're trying to piece together John's final days in Alicante.
So all of this area, is this still Orihuela?
Yes, Orihuela Costa is called, a very touristic area.
So this is where John George would have stayed, was in one of these houses?
Yes. Yes, that's the house.
So it's this house here?
Yes, that's...
Wow. It's big?
Yeah, big and expensive.
This is the house where John came to stay in early December.
John George stayed here too. And yes, this is the center of the action.
It's a beautiful neighborhood. It's an expensive looking house.
They choose this area because there are a lot of Irish people and a lot of British people.
It's the home of another man from Belfast, Jonnysmyth. Pictured here, partying with John George in Spain.
Gangster lifestyle, tattooed man. He had it all.
He'd invited John to Spain to attend a party he was throwing for his new business, a cannabis shop.
One night for a week. I'm up in the grass shop, big opening night, fireworks, the whole shebang, you know? As if he's Pablo Escobar. He's the boy.
1 month ago, John George was another neighbor, but now they didn't have a normal Christmas in that house.
No. John's sons, 2 little boys. That's just awful. Like their whole Christmas will have been, where's Dad? I mean, maybe they already do, but I'm sure the Guardia Civil would love to know exactly what happened in that house.
For now, this is what we know. John left this house on December the 14th. Then he disappeared. We need to know what happened next.
Well, let's go and knock on some doors and see if we can find anything from the neighbours here. Sorry to bother you. Did you see any of the people who were in the house?
A picture starts to emerge. The new arrivals from Belfast didn't go unnoticed.
She remembered there being young men coming and going from Belfast, and she even actually identified John George as walking up and down the street along with some of the others.
When Johnny arrived, I think he changed the energy in the neighborhood.
Yeah. We've been speaking to people in the neighborhood to try and get a clearer picture of what exactly went on in this house in the weeks and months before John George's disappearance. And it's one of fairly low-level crime, but antisocial behaviour for the area. There was apparent drug dealing, there was a constant smell of marijuana. The police had been called because of parties that got out of hand. What's strange is that around December 14th or 15th of this year, there was another party, fireworks, everything. But neighbours say that after that party, something seemed to change. There were no more strange comings and goings at odd hours. There were no more big parties, no more noise complaints. In fact, about a week later, the couple that had rented this house for most of the previous year quietly packed up in the night and moved on.
The new cannabis shop in Benidorm, a luxury villa, suspicious comings and goings. It's not hard to see the potential link to a darker side of life on the Costa Blanca. This investigation takes us into a world that most tourists don't see. In charge of all serious crime investigations in the Alicante region. It keeps him busy.
Desde delitos contra las personas, lesiones, homicidios, trata de seres humanos, a robos, robos con fuerza, robos con violencia o tráfico de drogas. No es un problema, realmente creo que lo tenemos controlado y...
He has seen firsthand the brutality that accompanies crime in the region.
Cuando estamos hablando del negocio, el negocio es el negocio. Y esta gente es igual de violenta si el tráfico es de marihuana que si el tráfico de drogas es de cocaína o de heroína. Y ha habido casos de Avisos que hemos llegado porque ha habido disparos y había una plantación de marihuana y no había nadie. Había desaparecido todo el mundo, había algún charco de sangre.
For Colonel Dardare and his team, multinational crime gangs and criminals from overseas are a particular headache.
Además, en esta zona, como hemos hablado, el nivel de delincuencia extranjera es muy alto, al igual que la población.
I went through Spain like a Tasmanian devil, and I really did. I was debt collecting, drug dealing, beating, shooting, carrying guns. There was nothing I'd never done over there.
Marvin Herbert has spent years in prison for serious crimes. After his release from a UK prison, Marvin saw opportunities in Spain, already awash with British and Irish gangsters.
I'm going to go to Spain and I'm going to get involved in work, because if he can do it and he can do it and he can do it, I can do it, because I think he's a mug and he's a mug. He ain't got no arsehole. I'm stronger, I'm harder, I'm more ferocious than all of them, and I'll eat them if I need to. And it ended with me being shot 5 times, once in the leg, once through the arm, through the pelvis, once through the genitals and exiting my right testicle, and once in the forehead and then once in the eye. That was the boom, that was the slap in the face that I needed to see what I'd become. And it's just karma. You get back what you put out. That's why Marv's nice, kind, humble, selfless, and harmonious. There you go.
Now reformed, Marvin is helping us make sense of the world of expat crime on the Costa Blanca.
People that are not at the top level are people that are getting used, and that's it. So you're either wrapping and packing, you're either delivering, you're either picking up. So they're dispensable people that they just use because they don't respect them.
John George ends up travelling out to Spain, minor criminal who has substance abuse problems.
Yeah, target. Simple. That's him. Because who's going to complain when he's not here? Who's going to complain when he gets a slap? Like, what's he going to do? Because in their head, he's only a junkie, he's only this head, he's only that head. That's how the criminals think about stuff. It's just vicious.
At first, John's time in Alicante seemed to be going well, but when days passed with no contact, Billy became concerned.
My John would have rung, he would have done something, even if they're in a party, somebody has a phone.
So he'd never be out of contact?
Never. Our John rung me 5, 6 times. We called him. I actually had him under my phone, Malter, because all he done was melt your head.
When Billy tried to get in touch with John through his friends, he was told that John had moved on to Benidorm.
Rung Johnny Smith. Johnny Smith says John was going up to a guy he knew from Liverpool called Pudgy. He's up to stay with him. He says, look, no, I'm going to do, I'm going to take a wee drive up into Benidorm. We're not far from it. I know a couple of doormen. Was there any fights or thing? I said, see, do you speak Spanish? Could you ring the hospitals or anything like that? He says, I'll do this and I'll do that.
So Johnny's going to sort it all?
Johnny's going to sort this out.
Billy was told not to worry. Johnny had organised a flight home for John the following day. He even sent the ticket info so John's family could be there to pick him up.
They sent me these Ryanair, raised into Dublin. So, John didn't get off the flight. It's just strange.
After days without contact, John's father travelled to Spain to formally report John as a missing person just before Christmas.
I started looking for John on the 23rd of December.
Day 2 of the search for John George.
Where do you start? You know, every morning we woke up, where do we go?
Look at the size of what 6 people have to try and go through here. This is a needle in a haystack. I need locals to come and help us find our son. We're just taking him home.
Just us. No Spanish police. I have his bed sheets in a bag for the sniffer dogs. We're doing everything we can as a family. Please, please, please. Let's find John.
Christmas morning was the worst day of my life. Everybody back home, opening presents, laughing and joking. Me, my wife, 2 daughters, their 2 partners, and my son, searching 22,000 acres of fields, climbing through hedges on Christmas Day, where we should be home with our family and grandkids. We hadn't a clue where we were going.
Please, just give me him. Just give me my son. That's all I want. Just my son.
The family documented the search online. The response was overwhelming.
We have a man from Belfast who is missing from the southeastern part of Spain.
I'm here now with the family of John George. That's his sister Courtney there in the pink pants. There's a house across the road where the young man lived.
Whether it was the mystery attached to John's disappearance, or its similarity to other recent cases, or just people understanding how painful it would be not to have a family member present at Christmas time, whatever it was, there was something in John's case that just really resonated with people. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, everybody was asking the same thing. What happened to John George?
If you have anyone who is on holiday or lives in Spain, in any of these kind of areas, if you can share this post, let us try and bring John home before Christmas.
It wasn't all supportive.
There's a lot going on with this family. These people are very short on answers.
Wild rumours about international crime gangs, conspiracies linking John's disappearance to a Belfast drug seizure.
People do not take kindly to narco dealers, people like John George, allegedly.
A video emerged of John George sent to friends before he disappeared, saying he was sitting with notorious criminals. He was with the Russian mafia, with the KiIIeds.
Could be someone connected with the Russian cartel, could be anyone.
But some misinformation was coming from closer to home. Some of those who told the family they wanted to help with the search seemingly didn't want John to be found.
I'm driving. We're just getting ready to go out on a search. And my phone rings, and the guy goes, I need to speak to you. He's going, this is where your son's body is.
A search for John George.
Through all the lies, one truth remained constant. John was still missing, and the family were still searching.
This is one of the sites where the family came to look for answers about what had happened to John George. And when you're here, you get a sense of just how hopeless a task that must have felt at times. To come here day after day, desperate for answers about your loved one, and to leave with nothing. It must have just felt utterly.
But the clues to John's disappearance weren't in this expanse of waste ground. They come back to what happened here, in the nearby house where John was staying before his disappearance. This house, where John came to stay with a friend, wasn't what it appeared. A glamorous villa in a quiet neighbourhood, surrounded by retiree expats. Neighbours tell us the house had been reported to the police. Wild parties, open drug use and suspicious comings and goings. We can't know what happened to John until we know more about what happened inside. We understand that when Johnny Smith was here, this house was full of drugs. A lot of cannabis and tablets, drugs like Xanax. Even with home security precautions like CCTV cameras all around the house, we believe that Smith was agitated, taking a lot of those pills himself. Around this time, Billy's attempts to contact Johnny Smith by phone were suddenly met with silence. John George was no stranger to drug use and had been arrested in the past with large quantities. In the subsequent case, lawyers described John as a petty criminal, a courier for larger players to sustain his own addiction. On the Costa Blanca, some of those he was there with were operating on a different level. Spotlight has obtained and verified 2 videos recorded inside this house in the weeks before John went missing.
M1, never heard of my life, right? But they're coming from fucking Slovakia.
These videos appear to show John George looking at photos of weapons on the phone of Michael Malley, an ex-Foreign Legion soldier.
They were baby pilots.
In the second video from this house, filmed minutes after the first, John appears to have been handed a gun.
Well, the needs you buy.
Hand grenades, look. No, absolutely no. Don't even realise what they're getting. That's nicked. That is a killing machine. Yeah, the bullets travel over 700 miles an hour. It's going through anything. Do you know what I mean? So, and all it takes is bat, a little bat. That's it. And that's what those people don't realise, that what they're egotistically drawn towards is a life of misery and death if you're playing with guns, taking drugs and counting money. But what's going to happen, something
Happy tears, sad tears. Happy tears we found him. Sad tears when we're bringing him home. But it says I was going out to get him. I'd still be there today. I got him.
This remote farm is the place where John's body was found. The aftermath of the murder still visible on this remote Spanish road.
Yeah, you can already see.
There is still blood on the road.
Sources within Spanish law enforcement have told us they believe John was still alive when he was brought here on the 14th of December. This remote farm was the scene of his brutal killing.
John was murdered. To be left at the side of a road like a dog. They've beat him, they've stabbed him, and they've shot him. Nobody deserves that.
The scumbags, they don't realise the impact it has on the families. You wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy, really. It's just, why?
Autopsy results confirm that he was stripped naked, beaten, and stabbed in the leg. Shot in the chest, shot in the face, his body hidden. The extremity of the violence and the extent of the decomposition meant John's identity had to be confirmed with DNA testing.
Man that was arrested and then released as an accomplishment of the crime. So they came to the exact location of the body.
So someone has told the police where to find the body, but they've only done it after weeks and weeks of the family searching in the wrong place for John's body.
Exactly.
He must have known the whole time where the body was. So all of those weeks that the family are searching, where they don't know where John George is, where they're asking for help, he knew.
Exactly. Knew, but say nothing to the family.
It's still unclear what sparked this brutal attack. Police believe the attack began as a personal dispute, an argument. How that could have spiralled into such shocking violence is known only to those who killed him. But our investigation on the ground has thrown up a new lead. We speak to the man who owns this farm. He doesn't want to appear on camera, still shaken at the thought of the violence done a short distance from his family home.
But the farmer also told us something which may be more significant for the investigation than anything else. He pointed out this hill and reservoir up here ahead of us, And on that reservoir is CCTV. It's pointing directly at us now, here on the road, and here at the crime scene. It may be that the Guardia Civil have footage not just of the killers, but of the murder itself. Unfortunately, there's a reason why things might not be that simple.
Entendemos el gran empeño y, por supuesto, la desesperación que tenían esos días en saber qué había pasado.
The man who led them to John's body has now been arrested and appeared in court in connection with the murder. 32-year-old Michael Malley is a Czech national and former soldier in the French Foreign Legion.
Your loyalty and your courage is your proof.
The same man who had sent John's family searching in the wrong place. Before John's body had been found, Billy had been sitting face to face with someone police suspect was involved in his son's killing.
Got his number, and I says, Michael, I need to see you. He's sitting there, he's a big lad. Right, he's an ex-foreign legioner. He admits John was in the flat, he admits being with John, he admits partying, drinking, taking drugs. You were in that flat, that's you in the video with John. Yeah, that's me. He's admitting all these things.
Our investigation suggests that it was on Michael's phone that John had been looking at pictures of weapons. And then the gun appears.
And I'm looking him straight in the eyes, and he can't look me straight in the face. He says, you ring me anytime, anytime.
Our investigation suggests he was still at this house in Orihuela Costa, and even then, in possession of at least one illegal firearm. Guardia Civil missed a chance to take Johnny into custody. His current whereabouts are unknown. Sources in Spanish law enforcement have told Spotlight that he was tracked flying as far as Abu Dhabi and may have travelled on to Thailand. For the George family, Johnny's escape and the lack of progress in John's case have raised doubts about the work done by Guardia Civil.
Do you think that you'll ever get justice for John from the Spanish authorities?
No.
It's been more than 2 months since John was murdered. Michael Malley isn't in custody.
That's a joke. Michael Malley is out. Don't know what he's out on. Don't even know what he's charged with. But I think he done the deal to give John's body up.
Jonnysmyth, the Guardia Civil say they don't know where he is.
Jonnysmyth is not in Thailand. He's in Europe, somewhere. If Johnny Smith is innocent, go to a place and hand yourself in. If you're innocent, go to a place. Why'd you go on the run? Why go on the run if you're innocent?
We attempted to contact Jonnysmyth about these allegations through a social media account. We received no response. Guardia Civil said the investigation remains open and it cannot comment further on specific points. But Colonel Antonio Darder is confident they will soon have their man.
Quiero mandar un mensaje que estén convencidos que desde el primer día el trabajo que se hizo fue intenso y bueno, creo que al final tuvo su reflejo. Conseguimos localizar el cuerpo del fallecido y bueno, y ya tenemos claro, bastante claro el sospechoso y esperemos que pronto pueda ser detenido. Ya están emitidas las órdenes internacionales de detención y donde sea que se haya escondido, pues activaremos todos los mecanismos que necesitemos de cooperación internacional, Interpol, el que sea necesario y espero que pronto pueda ser detenido.
I could never repay the people of Northern Ireland and further afield the support we got.
We saw people in England, people in America, people
Everywhere.
all over the world.
I have cards in the house from Canada, everywhere. But the day we came home from the airport, there was people there who I didn't even know from the other side of the community. And it was great. I could never, ever repay them. Never in my life I don't really do social media, but it was fantastic. See, without them people, without the power of social media, we'd have never got John.
As well as receiving support, Billy himself has been vocal online about his theories on who is responsible for his son's murder and the subsequent cover-up.
I'm being brought to court for harassment.
Billy has confronted the relatives of those he believes were involved, both online and in person. One of these incidents ended in his arrest and in his admission that he had committed an offence.
Well, let's just take that then head on. Do you think, looking back, that you did anything that you regret doing?
No, I don't, not one bit. Remorse they have. They get to see their kids.
I asked Billy what he would like to see happen in the investigation into his son's murder.
Justice. Justice for my son. I want justice because this young people being lured out there thinking they're going to have a good life. It's all, I have it all. You know, what for? Where are they now? They're all on the run. They have to come out. They have to come out. A rat always comes out of its hole.
No.